It's always amazing to me that immigrants who have their papers hate undocumented immigrants more than anyone else. But you know what? Let's get into this. So, yes, the Bible does talk about obeying the laws of the land. So let me ask you this. Have you ever gone 1 mile over the speed limit? Because if you have, you broke the laws of the land. Have you ever changed lanes without using your turn signal? You have broken the laws of the land. Let's look at some other examples of laws of the land, okay? This was the law of the land, as was this, and this. People who transported Jews and gypsies and LGBTQIA people and the disabled and political dissenters here, they were also following the law of the land. The guards who committed the atrocities inside here, they were following the laws of the land. These guys argued when they were on trial at Nuremberg that they were just following the laws of the land, but that didn't work too well for them. Since you want to pretend like you are a big Christian, let's talk about the Bible, okay? So the Bible says that we are to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with our God. Humbly is the part that I think you're struggling with and that a lot of American Christians struggle with because they don't actually worship the Jesus in the Bible. They worship the American Jesus who hates immigrants and things like that. There are 6 things the Lord hates. Haughtiness is right among there, pridefulness, all of those things that you're exhibiting right now. Yeah. The Bible also says that mercy is better than judgment. So when in doubt, choose mercy and love, and you will always be on the right side of God's law, okay? And there are a billion verses. There are a couple verses about following the law of the land. Yes, you're right. But there are a ton of verses about how we are to treat foreigners and immigrants and sojourners among us. And it seems to me, if you'll actually pause and read, God takes this very, very seriously. I also think that Christians in America, like you, don't actually pay attention to the next few parts of the Bible that I think are very, very important, especially in today's conversation. So let's just go over it. You can pause and read. But he's saying that he will separate the wheat from the chaff, the lambs from the goats. He will separate right and left. And he will say to the ones on the right, the righteous, that when he was in prison, they visited him. And when he was hungry, they fed him. And when he was thirsty, they gave him something to drink. And when he was a stranger, they took him in. And they are so righteous that they're like, Lord, when did we do these things? Because I'm not sure we did. And he says, whatever you did for the least of these, you did to me. And then he turns to the other side, the unrighteous. And he says, you didn't do any of this shit. And they're like, but we did all this stuff in your name. And he was like, yeah, you didn't do any of this for the least of these. Away from me. Get away from me. And I think this one is so important for American Christians to actually know that I'm going to actually read it to you. It's in Matthew 7. And it says, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father. See, it doesn't say he who follows the law of the land, even when they are contrary to God's law. It doesn't say he who remembers to turn on his turn signal. That's not what it says. It says, he who does the will of my Father in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, and done many wonders in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness. So yes, I have, because I am a Christian who believes in the biblical Christ and just happens to live in America, I have read about how we're supposed to render unto Caesar and we're supposed to obey those in authority and we're supposed to obey the law of the land. However, I realize that the law is not always ethical and what's ethical is not always legal. And so when in doubt, I personally choose to follow God's way, which is mercy and love. You see, if we get the Bible right and we get love wrong, we're wrong.